information, some news, a little bit of news, maybe not a lot of news. We got iced coffee on the set. That's Peter Schrager's. That's Adam Schefter. I didn't know if you were going to take a sip, though.
Peter's been drinking iced coffee all day. He keeps going.
My whole life.
He's trying to stay with us. Okay, we'll be here with you for the next hour with a lot of great information. Let's begin with Aaron Rodgers and everything going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a good laugh, Adam, because it does apply. With the NFL draft rapidly approaching, Aaron Rodgers' playing future remains uncertain. Rodgers, who turned 42 in December, showed his age for the Steelers in 2025, right? Among the 33 qualified quarterbacks last season, Rodgers' 5.8 air yards per attempt, the lowest of the group, while his average time to pass was 2.59 seconds. That's the fastest in the league. Everyone's waiting on a decision from Aaron Rodgers, including Mike McCarthy, who addressed that timeline today.
Yeah, I'm not going to really get into timelines. So we're in constant communication. Talked to them last night. So we're in a good space, and we're just continue to work through it. I think the quarterback room's going to be coached the same way, whether he's in there or he's not. It's, you coach to the lead player, because if you take the passing game, if you're truly going to be tied to the discipline and the footwork and the teachings of how that position plays and is coordinated with the perimeter, they all have to be synchronized. So that part won't change.
The AFC coaches, of course, meeting with the media today, and that's why we'll be focused a little bit more on those teams. Adam, what more can you tell us on this timeline for Aaron Rodgers? And I'm sorry if you're tired of this question, but we're going to keep asking it until we have a decision.
Laura, I'm never tired of the Aaron Rodgers question. It's always out there, and the situation is that he and Mike McCarthy have been talking on a regular basis. That would lead people to think, if they're talking that often, why are they even talking if Aaron Rodgers is not serious about coming back?
Right.
That would tell you that obviously he's strongly entertaining the idea of coming back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think everyone right now within the Steelers organization is cautiously optimistic that he'll be back. We never fully know with Aaron Rodgers, but that much activity and conversations and talking about what the future could look like clearly is an indication that he's serious about playing. My understanding also is it has nothing to do with a contract that should not be difficult to work out. This is Aaron Rodgers waiting to announce whether he will or won't play. And again, I think it's a positive that he's been as in touch with Mike McCarthy as he's been recently.
Putting a timeline on anything Aaron Rodgers does is a fool's errand. You wouldn't want to do that because he operates at his own pace and does his own things. And last year we thought maybe in March or April we'd know, and it wasn't until after the draft. I would think with the draft being in Pittsburgh, and I would think with the constant dialogue with Mike McCarthy that this year it would be appropriate from both sides to have that answer before they have another pick in the top 20 in the NFL draft. I would think that with a coach that he spent that many years with, out of mutual respect for each other, that we would get that answer before mid-April.
But it really doesn't matter, because even if he weren't going to come back, it's not like the Pittsburgh Steelers need to know by the first night of the draft, because I don't think a lot of people believe and expect that they're going to be picking a quarterback in the first round.
Some people have said Ty Simpson.
I don't think people expect them to take a quarterback in the first round.
Can I add something here?
Yeah.
I sat next to Mike McCarthy at the breakfast today, and as much as the questions were about Rodgers, said he would have taken Will Howard before the 6th round last year. Says he loves what he's seen on tape from Will Howard. Says Will Howard didn't take a single snap last year, but everything he has seen from him, he's very encouraged by. Maybe he's hedging his bet a little bit, or maybe he's building up Howard in case the entire rug is pulled from him on Rodgers at the last second. But Will Howard seems to have a fan in Mike McCarthy as well.
Oh, a big fan. And I think that Mike McCarthy likes to work with quarterbacks who are sharp, and I think they perceive Will Howard to be very sharp. And I think that there is a real curiosity there about what he can do. Now, are you going to count on Will Howard to go compete against Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and maybe Deshaun Watson? We'll see about that. But the fact is, they are encouraged and optimistic on Will Howard while they wait for an answer on Aaron Rodgers. And I don't think that quarterback in the first round will be in play.
Well, really, I mean, as you guys know, the last time we heard from Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show, he was telling Pat how much he likes Will Howard and how big of a fan he is of the young quarterback. So maybe there's more there than we're realizing. Let's turn our attention to the Bills. They, of course, here today and yesterday talking to the media, and the Bills didn't receive much production out of their wide receivers last season. The group averaged the fewest air yards per target in the NFL. How do we get more help for Josh Allen, right? As for Buffalo's running backs and tight tight ends, no team got more yards per reception out of those positions than the Bills. The Bills' wideouts struggled, right? But Josh Allen is always a threat with his legs. His new head coach, Joe Brady, spoke today on the importance of protecting his dual-threat quarterback.
There's going to come a time in his career where he's going to have to, his legs aren't going to be able to do what he can do, and he's going to have to become a true pocket passer. We're not there yet, right? But so I have to be mindful of that when I'm calling plays. We know in the pass game, Josh is going to scramble. So you got to count those scrambles, knowing that there's going to be some of the runs. And so tell me the time in the game, the importance of it, where we are in the season. That's when I think some of just the true design runs come into play. But if I ask him, he'll be like, hey, run me 40 times, throw it 40 times. I really don't care. I just would like him. Now we got a grass field. I hope he slides a little more.
It's interesting because I think when you think about the Bills right now, it feels like a bit of a turning point. Obviously, they move on from Sean McDermott. Joe Brady is now the head coach. They got to do more for Josh Allen. They fall short. Do you expect them to be adding more help, Peter? And what would that look like for Josh Allen?
I think the DJ Moore trade was a very big trade.
Yeah.
They went and got DJ Moore, and the way that the Buffalo sources have kind of framed this is if you look at some of the other free agents that were out in the market, that number was extremely high for some of these wide receivers. And what we did for DJ Moore was we're getting a veteran player who we believe can actually play a significant role right from the go. And last year where they didn't have that veteran receiver and he didn't have that go-to guy, and he's relying on players that are untested besides Khalil Shakir, a bunch of young shavers, and down the stretch you're looking for production from guys that haven't done it before. DJ Moore's done it. He's played in big games. So I think DJ Moore is big. I'd also say they were 31st in the league against the run last year.
Yeah.
So this is not just a team that's a receiver away. So I would say be careful on just sliding, hey, 26th overall pick, Bills, best receiver available, go. No, that's not how they operate. And they think they did check a big box with DJ Moore.
And I think that's exactly right. I don't think they're looking for a wide receiver early. They went wide receiver early. They went DJ Moore.
Right.
And it's not the first time this organization has done that. They traded a first-round pick for Stephon Diggs back in the day, and that seemed to work out pretty well. And Diggs helped carry the receiving core. And I think that they're counting on DJ Moore to do something similar right now. If there's another receiver at some point in the draft, I'm sure they'd love to add one. It's a deep draft for wide receivers. They'll find some help somewhere along the way. But this is a team that has holes. This is a team that has needs. Don't know that you could afford to go receiver in round one, trade second-round pick for DJ Moore. It's not like we can go play 7-on-7 flag football with a bunch of wide receivers.
And we learned that the NFL players aren't great at that. So I think we're going to stick with,
Yeah, what was up with that? Adam, we got some more top stories that we want to get to today. Are there any rule changes coming out of the league meetings this year that will affect what the fans see on the field next season?
A couple of notable things today, Laura, and I think the ones that we're watching both involve officials. The NFL today approved a competition committee proposal for 1 year only, and this is really in light of the dispute with the NFLRA, the Referees Association, to correct calls from the Replay Assist Center in New York City. So what the league is trying to do here is say, we have an extra set of eyes on the game in the event we have to use replacement officials and we can't get a new collective bargaining agreement.
Leverage, Adam.
That's
Leverage.
a message.
Man,
There's a message right there. And the other one to watch today is that essentially disqualifications can occur after a flag wasn't thrown on a play, like DK Metcalf last year. No flag when he goes into the stands. They can look at that and say, disqualified, he's out of the game in this particular case. So a couple of big rule changes here from the NFL owners.
Adam, you've alluded to it all week. Just a quick one here. This replacement ref thing feels like
real.
It's going to happen.
It's real. Well,
people,
listen,
we need
Laura,
to prepare ourselves.
It's March 31st, I believe.
Okay. Am I being over the top?
No, you're not. Not right now. Not right now. But my point is, there's still time.
Yeah.
And negotiations take turns. But where it sits today is not good.
Can I quickly add?
Please.
The NFL is talking about international and flag football, and that they just did a big production deal with Skydance, and there's a new time. This is the issue that is going to be the biggest thing for the NFL over the next several months. This issue, the replacement refs, because the integrity of the game is what matters most. And trust me, the owners are going for a fight, and that refereeing association, they're in for one too.
There might be, in the spring, a lot of late-night sessions with
The Chiefs are keeping a close watch. Their star quarterback working back from injury. You saw some of the footage of that last week. Many have been eager to see if he'll return in time for the start of the season. Remember, they did sign Justin Fields as a backup. Our Chiefs reporter Nate Taylor also dropped a little more info about Mahomes' recovery timeline yesterday, tweeting, Here are the NFL owners' meetings. A news tip from Clark Hunt. The Chiefs are not expected to start the season in Seattle. I don't think that's on the timetable anymore. I think from a league standpoint, there would be some concern whether Patrick Mahomes would be ready to go. So that's from the owner's standpoint. How about this? New on NFL Live, Andy Reid spoke today on where things stand with Patrick Mahomes' recovery.
So he's been in the building every day, so I've had a chance to kind of see him progress through this thing. He's doing great. It's hard to measure, are you ahead of schedule or not? I mean, who makes the schedule, right? So every player is different. I will tell you, though, I would never bet against him. He's always going to put in the time and effort, and always push it, but within reason, so he doesn't take steps back. So far, it's all been positive.
Jeff Darlington joining us here now. And Jeff, I think, when we all think about Patrick Mahomes, like everyone still thinks he's the greatest, but a lot of people haven't talked about him as much, just knowing that he's been out. What is the preseason plan from what you know and talking to the Chiefs?
Well, they don't want to put a timeline on it. You heard Andy Reid say within reason. I disagree with that completely. Patrick Mahomes does not subscribe to the idea of within reason. He does think that he can be on the field for week one. He has to limit the expectations and listen to the doctors, yes, but he is grinding. The one interesting part about the Chiefs offseason, too, is that it did end, obviously. It started much earlier than any other recent years. So he's having a chance not only to rehabilitate the knee, but to rest his entire body, which obviously is a good sign. And I learned, actually, Peter, from the Schrager Hour.
There you go.
From Brett Veach, that he's full throttle, and I thought it was cool to hear that.
Let's go, Schrager Hour.
90% of his rehab is occurring, according to Brett Veach, on the Schrager Hour in the facility.
I was just going to add, so the Schrager Hour is a show that I do for ESPN.
How long
you can
does
find
it
it.
last?
It is over there. It's an hour long. And we had Brett Veach on as our guest this week, and Brett, who's a GM, said he's doing his rehab in the facility. So they see him all day long. But here's the other part of it. He's taking a trainer with him from the Chiefs back home with him to Dallas when he's not in the facility.
Oh, I like that.
So he has his trainer from the Chiefs working him out every day in the facility under their eyes. And then when he's not in the facility and he's back down in Dallas, that same guy is living with him in Dallas so that they're training. So this is unlike any rehab you've seen.
That's not
very
normal.
rare.
Most
so
of the time, these players that are recovering, it's like they have their own guys working with them or girls, and then it's like, okay, well, you got to report back to the team, and then sometimes it does feel like the timelines get real murky. I mean, this feels like they're communicating directly with each other. They know exactly what's going on. I like that. Andy Reid also, he had work done on his knee. He's getting around great around here. Adam Schefter brought that up earlier. If you need to get something done to your knee, go to Kansas City.
Apparently,
good there.
And I would just end with the Mahomes side of it. Patrick's been very much involved in conversations with Andy and with Brett as far as the offseason has gone. So don't get it twisted. If they didn't address wide receiver, if they didn't do that, Andy Reid and Brett Veach rely on Mahomes' opinion quite a bit.
Okay, absolutely.
Now too.
Eric Bieniemy as well.
Expect that offense
Thanks
to
for
look
that
a lot
promo,
different.
dude.
Yeah,
That's good.
We like to promo the incredible hours and other viewing opportunities and listening opportunities we have here at ESPN with our incredible talent. All right, let's focus in on the Titans and everything going on with them as Cam Ward, last year's top pick, finished the 2025 season on a high note. You saw some of the flashes of what you can expect from him going forward. In fact, no quarterback had a higher touchdown to interception ratio over the final 10 weeks of the season. He now gets to work with a new offensive coordinator, Brian Dable, who has previous success with young quarterbacks such as Josh Allen and Jackson Dart. New Titans head coach Robert Saleh spoke today on what his second-year QB has been working on this offseason.
The mechanical stuff for us is always going to come with his feet. That's the one thing. You, as a coach, you're really not going to mess with his arm angles, the way he releases the ball. You're not going to try to fix that. The way he throws the ball is the way he throws the ball. From a coaching staff standpoint, it's going to be about tying everything with his feet.
Jeff, what more can you tell us about what the Titans have planned for Cam Ward and Brian Dable's system?
Well, first of all, he did add that it's going to be fiery between Cam Ward and Brian Dable. Some dickering is a sure thing. But one of the things I thought that Saleh talked about that was interesting, not just about the mechanical side of it, but also the mental side of it. He said that he sees Cam Ward, we talked about it with Patrick Mahomes, in the building every day. Now, they can't really talk ball at this point in the offseason program, but he said what's so impressive about Cam Ward is that he walks through the building, he literally knows every single person's name. He knows the trainers, the chefs, all the different people in the building that make it work. He said he just cannot fathom a world where Cam Ward fails. He just
love that.
He believes in him, what he's seen from him so far, and the idea of Brian Dable. I think that those two will challenge each other. They are both fiery, and they are not afraid to share that.
Yeah,
with
and they're
each other.
competitive as all get out. They want to win. I mean, it's going to be fun to see them together. The Titans have a huge decision at 4 overall. I mean, some of these mocks, you see Jeremiah Love going there. What sense do you get about where they may go in this upcoming draft?
I'll say this about a Robert Saleh built team, whether it was in San Francisco or it was with the Jets when he was the head coach. One thing that is always a hallmark, waves of defensive linemen that they can wove through. And you already saw the offseason how they've started that with John Franklin Myers. They brought him in. They traded for Jermaine Johnson. With the defensive ends that are in the top of this draft, Bailey, Reese, and Bain, I wouldn't be shocked if everyone else is talking Jeremiah Love, if a Robert Saleh coach team adds another explosive pass rusher with one of those 3 names that might be sitting there at number 4. Again, it's early. We're not even into April. But don't put anything in pen and give offense to the Titans just yet. Robert Saleh is the coach, and he has a characteristic that he likes with his defensive lines.
Yeah, it's important to remember that all these teams have a ton more work to do on the draft. As much as we're talking about the draft all the time and, you hear some things here and there, it really starts to become real here over this next month, and they're going to be getting to work hard after spending some time here in the desert.
Saleh just texted me, by the way.
Oh, what did he say?
He's golfing right now. So
well,
why is he texting while he's golfing? It's so stupid.
Not everyone can be as dialed in as you are on the golf course.
Must be nice.
It's just Jeff in the course when he's out there. All right, coming up next. The Ravens have had an eventful offseason, to say the least. They originally planned, as we were reminded there, to acquire Max Crosby from the Raiders for 2 first-round picks, but backed out of the trade agreement and instead signed Trey Hendrickson to a 4-year, $120 million deal. The team has also lost a handful of meaningful contributors, led by Tyler Linderbaum, Isaiah Likely, Draymond Jones, Alohi Gilman. There's a lot to talk about here with Jesse Minter. And the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens joining us now, Jesse Minter. So glad to have you here with us. We appreciate your time. I know you have been asked about Lamar Jackson probably 300 times today. We're going to make it 301. I'm curious, this is a player that plays at MVP level all the time, right? He's one of the best players in the league. How do you plan, though, to unlock even more out of Lamar?
We want to build on what he is. I think he's the best player in the National Football League. We want to build an offense that at times allows him to do that, at times takes a little pressure off of him. We want to have a dominant line of scrimmage, a dominant run game. We want to build the best defense in the league to put with him. And we think we'll create an environment where there's still an even greater step he can take. That's
him on the field, obviously, but one of the conversation points has been his future with the Ravens. And sometimes we get the contract talk, and you're like, I'm the coach. I'm just dealing with talk to Eric about that. But from your vantage point, how important is it to make sure that Lamar Jackson is the future of the Baltimore Ravens?
Yeah, Lamar knows how the organization feels about him. We know how he feels about us. We think in due time that'll all work itself out.
One of the things that you mentioned in your introductory press conference is just how important the off-season programs are for players and how you want them to buy in. Do you expect Lamar to be there next week?
I have a pretty good confidence level that we'll have a lot of attendance there starting on Monday, and look forward to seeing who all that's at. It's about us creating an environment where they want to be there, where they feel like they're getting a lot out of it. We have a ton of respect for the rules, that it's voluntary, so we need to make it an environment that they feel like they're getting better. And so we look forward to starting that on Monday.
How important would it be, though, to have Lamar there?
Yeah, Lamar is certainly a key piece of the team, but he's also – he's won MVP doing it a multitude of different ways. So I'm very confident that in September we'll have Lamar where we need to have him. And so, again, just look forward to the work that we get to start this week.
We've seen him win an MVP with Greg Roman. We've seen him win an MVP with Todd Monken. Insert Declan Doyle. How have you seen that offense come together a little bit, even if it's just on paper or maybe over the film work?
It's been great. I've just – strengthen my feeling of Declan the more and more that we get to spend around each other, the more time we spend together, learning the offense, learning each other, learning how I can help him, how he can help me. We've had a great relationship and very, very excited about the direction of our offense.
What made Trey Hendrickson such a good fit for what you want to do defensively?
Trey's an elite pass rusher, and when you look at playing with the lead and the ability to close out games, oftentimes it's pass defense, it's sacks, it's interceptions, it's turnovers. Having that guy that can win those one-on-ones, not only can he win the one-on-ones, but he can also draw attention that at times can create other opportunities for other people. So very excited about Trey. I've said this a bunch, he has the second most fourth quarter sacks in the last 5 years, and that's an area where we want to be dominant as a team, finishing games. And I feel like he's a closer for us. He'll be in that type of role. and very excited about him.
18 years this organization has had one man leading the front of the room. You were on that coaching staff with John Harbaugh, of course. What have you done to go out of your way to maybe say, it's the Jesse Minter era now. We respect the past and what we've accomplished, but here's my imprint on this team.
I think you said it. I mean, I've been around a lot of great coaches. That's put me in a position to be where I'm at. I've tried to take a little bit from everybody that I've been around. Certainly the Harbaughs, both of them have been a major influence on me. But at the same time, man, I've taken things from every stop. I've taken things that I would do the same, maybe that I would do different. And I want the players to feel like it's our program now, that it's change is change. You know, sometimes it just happens after such a long time. Love and respect and have great admiration for John and the job that he did there. There is a great foundation in place. And so it's putting our own spin on it, and we look forward to starting that next week.
You're here at the annual league meetings as a first-time NFL head coach. Like, have you taken a moment to just be like, wow, this is pretty cool, and enjoy that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you just walk into these big meetings and you see how just the way the NFL operates and the business side of things and why it's so successful, how it's so successful, you learn a lot about that in some of these deals. And so you just, like, the respect level for how it operates just goes even higher. And then you get a chance to meet a lot of the other coaches, certainly know some of them from over the years. But it's a cool, and it's kind of its own little fraternity. You know, there's only 32 of them.
Who did you meet that you didn't know beforehand that you walked away, you're like, that's a cool guy?
Yeah. I would say that I didn't know beforehand, probably Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
You know, just having like a short, small conversation with him yesterday. Somebody that I don't think I'd ever even met. And so, yeah, that one sticks out.
One thing I do want to ask about the Crosby deal, obviously that goes down and you've had to answer questions about it. Now that we're a couple of weeks removed, what learning experience do you take from that whole entire thing, whether it be the media reaction or it be the discussions with the player himself, all of it? There's a learning lesson somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's this thing, there's going to be ups and downs no matter what, whether it's in a game, whether it's dealing with stuff like that, to try to really stay even keel, not ride the wave. We were super excited about the thought of Max Crosby. We were disappointed that it didn't work. But I think you learn just to trust the process. Everything has a process through it. We went through the process. The result what it was. And so I think you just got to learn to stay even keel, not try to ride that wave too high, and always be ready to respond. Yeah. So whatever happens to you, it's not what it is. It's how do you respond. And I'm very, very happy and proud of our organization, how it was handled and how we responded to it. And I feel like we're in a great place.
It's great life advice, too. Thanks so much to Jesse Minter joining us here, the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
As for another AFC North team, the Browns have 3 quarterbacks on their roster. Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel win a combined 4-9 in their starts as rookies last season. Then Deshaun Watson, who missed all of last season as he rehabbed the Achilles injury he suffered in October of 2024. Watson has played in only 19 games since the Browns traded 3 first-round picks and gave him a fully guaranteed $230 million contract in March of 2022. Adam, the Browns spoke yesterday, their owner, about Deshaun Watson's availability this coming season. What more can you tell us about if we should expect to see Deshaun out there?
Well, it sounds like there's a real possibility that Deshaun Watson, at the very least, is going to be competing for the starting job if he doesn't win the Browns starting quarterback job. We've seen quarterbacks bounce around this league only to resurface and have great success. And the Browns believe that could be the recipe for Deshaun Watson, who hasn't been heard from, essentially, for 2 years. Obviously, everybody knows the backstory. Everybody knows everything that's gone on there. And here's a career that got completely derailed, was upside down, and now he's trying to make it back. And we'll see whether or not he can, but he clearly is in the competition and in the running to become the Browns starting quarterback this season. Why are you looking like that, Laura?
It's just fascinating. Like, I think a lot of people thought there's no way. Like, he's not going to come back, or if he is, it would be in a different capacity. He applied to the Geno Smith School.
People wrote him off, and most people thought he wasn't going to write back.
I ain't right back, and then, I don't know, maybe he is. I'm trying to figure out the grammar there. But either way, you did spend some time today listening in on Todd Monken and what he had to say about the quarterback room. What more did you learn about that, Peter?
It's fascinating to hear Coach Monken speak. He's been waiting to be an NFL coach all these years. He finally becomes one, and this is the quarterback room he inherited. And, you know, Shedeur Sanders has been there in the building which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
He said Shedeur Sanders has shown up every day. Now, they can't do actual football. They can't actually talk ball. They can't go out there on the field. But he can work out, and he can be there, and they can have conversations. And he says, he's got a great relationship with Shedeur already because he's around. Deshaun Watson is not. They've spoken on the phone, but he's not there. And Dylan Gabriel, he says, I believe from what I know, he hasn't been there either. So say what you want about Shedeur Sanders and his chance to be the number one quarterback. If you're going a month into the Munkett era, who's done the best to be present and in his face? It's been Shedeur.
That matters, right?
I think so. Then again, we're not even in April. I think they have a lot of needs on their roster, though. I wouldn't necessarily pencil in quarterback for them either. I think this is going to be the group, these three, and it will be a meritocracy, and the best man will win. But Shedeur Sanders doing everything he possibly can to make a name for himself.
And they're not going to go quarterback at 6, and I don't think people believe they'll go quarterback at 24. I think they'll sit out the first round for a quarterback. You mentioned Shedeur Sanders being in the building. Deshaun Watson's been around. Dylan Gabriel has not been around. And again, it's the end of March. We'll see how that works out, but there may be a little message in that Dylan Gabriel is not there. We'll see whether that means anything or not.
Man, that's going to be really interesting to keep an eye on here as it continues to develop. We got a lot more quarterback news around the league. Let's stay in the AFC North. Adam, what is the latest on Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, or his decision? I should say it that way instead.
Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers have been in regular contact here. Clearly, there are conversations that are occurring between the Steelers free agent quarterback and the current Steelers head coach, who the two men have worked together in Green Bay before, and there's a real possibility they'll work together now. We're still waiting for a decision from Aaron Rodgers, but it certainly seems like he is open to the idea and entertaining the idea of returning to Pittsburgh for this upcoming season. Meanwhile, we knew that Geno Smith is back with the New York Jets. We talked about him being written off, bouncing back. He's their guy. They're counting on him making a mark this season. Aaron Glenn talking up Geno Smith at breakfast this morning at the AFC Coaches Breakfast. They had big plans for Geno Smith this season, and they're hoping that he can help this franchise turn around things in New York. As for Anthony Richardson, we know that his future in Indianapolis is murky, but there are no assurances that the Colts general manager may be able to trade him. It's been quiet so far.
Yeah.
There's not been a lot of interest in Anthony Richardson. We'll see whether or not that changes at the draft, but if you're not getting back anything more than a pick flip, you might just be better off holding on to the former 4th overall pick and keeping him around your roster. They're not just going to give him away. They haven't found any offers that are worthwhile, and so for the time being, Anthony Richardson remains on the roster, and the Colts still can see a scenario in which he is on their roster.
I mean, I get it, right? He didn't show us anywhere near what they had expected, but he's also still a young player in his career. Like, maybe there's more there. There was something that they liked, and you saw flashes
currency,
of
Laura.
Bingo.
You don't just give away currency.
He's got potential, people. Okay, hold on to him maybe and see what happens. We got more coming your way here on Jonathan Gannon. Arizona hired former Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur as its next head coach. The team then decided to release former top overall pick Kyler Murray after 7 seasons in the desert. Murray has since signed with the Vikings. As for what's ahead, the Cardinals own that 3rd overall pick in next month's draft. We spent some time with LaFleur yesterday here on the show. All right, we are now joined by Mike LaFleur, and I was just told it's a family affair here right now. You got the entire, everybody's here, your brother's staying for a long time. Just paint the picture for us about what's going on for you here in Arizona now that you're trying to get settled in.
Yeah, that's true. We got the keys on Monday, the movers came Tuesday, and Matt and the family came on Friday. And most people are flying out tomorrow back to their respective homes, but
I'm thinking of the Griswolds. That's what I'm thinking of. It's like crazy cousin Eddie.
He's staying here till Sunday.
That's a long time.
And that was not passed over with my my wife yet. So we'll see. But it's all good. It's fun. All the cousins are there. There's 4 of them, and they're having a blast.
Good.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Now to the less important stuff. Kyler Murray, you decide to move on from. What was the decision-making process there that said, okay, we're going to move in a different direction here?
I mean, like I was saying earlier today in my media, just I think it was just probably best for both parties at that time. I don't have a real relationship with Kyler in terms of I've never coached him, I've never been around him. I just have a lot of respect for him from afar, being in the division for 7 years, 5 of them with him when he finally got drafted in 19. So, I wish him all the best, and it was the decision that we made, that we think is best for the Cardinals.
And we leave us with a quarterback room of Brissett, who they had last year, and now Gardner Minshew. You guys weren't necessarily going to break the bank on a Malik Willis or go another direction. Why'd you settle on, not settle, but why'd you go from Minshew as your veteran quarterback to join Brissett?
I've known Gardner for a long time. I coached him at the Senior Bowl.
Is that right?
Back in when he was going into
Out of Washington
2019
State?
out of Washington State. And there was a lot of cool dudes. Stidham was on that squad there as well. Will Greer, amongst, obviously some of the other positions. And I'll never forget, he got a hold of me about 4 days before we were reporting to Mobile, and he wanted the playbook. And, I didn't know if this was going to be a 5-minute thing. I didn't know if I was going to give him a document or whatnot. We ended up FaceTiming for like 4 hours and went through everything, and that's just who he is, and that's why he's been able to have the career that he's had. He's got a lot of respect in this league, and we just thought, again, the experience that he's had, it made sense.
You have some incredible stars on this offense and really young guys, too. I mean, Trey McBride, the best tight end in the league. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. that I think you can still get a lot more out of, right? How excited are you to start scheming up for those guys?
Yeah, it's fun, and it's really been fun just getting to know these guys. I've been on record, and this is a true story. The day I came in, which was like 12 hours after the NFC Championship, right when I walked in the building, the first 3 players I saw at the front table were Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison, and Trey McBride. And I said, wow, if this isn't a good omen right there in terms of, 3 of the guys that are moving the ball forward consistently, being explosive playmakers, are the 3 in there eating breakfast, breaking bread together, and getting ready to go train.
And now you look to the draft, and it's this number 3 overall pick, and you assume Raiders go quarterback at 1, Jets likely go pass rusher at 2. But you guys at 3 might really hold the keys to where this draft breaks open. Couple positional needs, of course. What are you doing to prepare so that you guys make the right pick and you feel comfortable with who you selected?
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun because, again, we think we know what's going to happen at 1. You don't totally know what's going to happen at 2, but, you're hedging your bet that it's going to be somewhere in there. And then there you are sitting at 3 with a lot of good options, at a lot of different positions. So it'll be an ongoing discussion. The cool part is we're not on the clock right now. Yeah. We got a lot more time to still talk about this, but at the same time, not overthink it. Let's get a great football player. Whoever we end up picking, it's going to be a good football player, and it's going to be the right fit.
We were just looking at your credential photo. We saw the hair on display. It just made me think, like, who has better hair, you or
question.
Matt?
We know that.
Interesting.
I'm going to say you're voting for yourself. You have a vote here? You want to?
I think they're both very attractive.
Oh, that was
men.
a cop out. I'm going to go with your hair. I think it's better than Matt's. I would say that to him too.
I agree. He puts a lot more time into it.
Yeah, yours just,
and you can see that. Sometimes it's just let it go.
I like that. We appreciate your time here. Wish you the best of luck with everything upcoming, and thanks for spending some time with us here.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
We had to get into the hair there. There was just no other option. All right,
Matt's feelings are going to be hurt.
I know. I'm sorry about that. Here's a really abrupt
Matt didn't
turn.
come on the show.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't come on the show, you don't get to talk about hair. We're making an abrupt turn to Ty Simpson, so let's just do it, right? According to ESPN Max's latest mock draft, Ty Simpson is projected to go in the first round. Nearly all of our experts' mocks. Matt Miller, who released his mock yesterday, is the only one who doesn't have Simpson in the first round. He has him going with the first pick on day 2 to the Jets at 33rd overall. Adam, Ty Simpson's name tied to a few teams. What's the latest on what you're hearing about not only where he might go to whom, but like what round? Is it truly the first or second?
I think a lot of people believe that he has a real chance to go in the first round, but it's hard to find the spot he's going to. I don't think he's going to the Jets at 16. I don't think he's going to the Browns at 24. I don't think he's going to the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21 or wherever they pick.
Seats seem to be filled then.
So where is he going? Is there a team that's trading up into the back half of the first round the way that the Giants did for Jackson Dart last year? Is that Ty Simpson scenario in play for next month in Pittsburgh? Again, there are teams that really like him. There are teams that have a first-round grade on him. But it doesn't mean in the end that he's going to go in the first round.
What do you guys hear about Miami? Are they in the mix at all? I mean, they got
I
Malik
don't think
Willis,
so.
but some people have thrown them out as a
still
team.
on that roster. And
Good point.
I'll say this. I got to ESPN a year ago this week. Oh, where's the confetti?
Oh, my goodness. Happy 1 year, Peter.
I showed up.
We're going to give him a cake
and
later.
Iced coffee with it, too.
I showed up, and everyone's got Shador going 2 to Cleveland or 9 to New Orleans. And I'm not saying it was – I just came on Get Up, and I looked at Greeny, and I'm like, I don't have a team for Shador because he's a good player, and everyone seems to like him. But I can't tell you with great confidence that, like, the Steelers love him or the Browns love him. And it made news, and it was, whatever. It was picked apart. I feel the same way about Ty Simpson right now. Everyone, likes him as a player, and everyone I talk to is like, oh, yeah, but we don't need a quarterback. Or, we don't. So as we're sitting here going into April, this isn't some knock at Ty Simpson. It's not some knock at Dan Orlovsky. It's not some knock at the mock draft complex we do. As of right now, I don't have a first-round team for Ty Simpson. Doesn't mean he won't have a season like Tyler Shuck had where he was awesome and he didn't go in the first round. It doesn't mean he won't go in the first round. He still can. But as we sit here right now, like, I'm not pinning my tail on any donkey. I don't have one.
Adam? I thought you were going to say something. It looked
Well,
like
I'm just thinking about Tyler Shuck. The Saints love his leadership, and that's what surprised them the most. And if people knew that he was as good a leader as he is, then he would have been a first-round pick. Now there's a bunch of teams working out Ty Simpson, meeting with him privately, and maybe there's going to be a team that emerges from those meetings that is impressed with his leadership or his intangibles, that moves him up their board. But to your point, I don't see an obvious team that I could say today, boy, that team's waiting to take Ty Simpson in the first round, which doesn't mean he won't be a first-round pick.
Right.
But I don't see it right now.
And a reminder, a lot of these teams are still doing their work on him, right? You said there's going to be teams that are going to be working him out, talking to him more. He is a great leader. I've witnessed that myself. I covered him, a ton last year on the sidelines and watched it.
If you take a
real
quarterback
time.
in the first round, you as a GM and our coach are putting your name on that player. If you already have a quarterback on the roster that you already did that with, you usually don't do it for a second guy.
And I also wonder when teams are deciding whether or not to draft Ty Simpson here in the first round next month or the second round, are they saying, okay, well, we could take Ty Simpson now or we could wait till next year? Does that enter into the conversation at all?
It probably does, and I think people kind of thought that about maybe what this year's quarterback class would be, and then it hasn't turned out to be exactly what we thought.
But next year seems like an historic
It's going to be better.
one.
Has to be, right? There's so many good names. Okay, these are the dilemmas that these teams are going through right now. We've got more coming your way here on NFL Live. When we come back, okay, you guys do not want to miss what's coming your way. Jerry Jones had an incredible quote as he is